Alright guys, Dan here, and I gotta wrap this series up. Way overdue, and as the longer time gets on, the less and less time I've got to apply myself back to this project. So, where we're at today is I've added in a medic kit role. So, our character here, he's got 5 wounds, and if providing he has a medic kit, he can double click this and it will roll. You can see it rolls 1d6 and it recovers. Now there are some rules. He did have 5 wounds, he's now got 2 wounds. There are some rules there that medic kit can only recover wounds sustained in that fight. I'm not managing that, you guys will have to manage that yourself. You also, if you use a medic kit during the fight, you have to do a action roll to successfully be able to do that. And again, that's something that you'll have to manage yourselves during the game. The medic, like if you heal more hit points than you've got wounds, so we'll try this again. So we've healed 3, we rolled a 3, but it says here 2 hit points recovered because we're back up to full health. Now, let's have a look at the code for that. Obviously, I've created a graphic. This is not the correct graphic. I've replaced it with the graphic that looks less busy on such a small size, just the standard red cross. And what we can see here, rather than the button, as usual, I've used an icon. I've basically got a 1d6 on here. I'm not using modifiers. Maybe I ought to for house rolling purposes and things like that. But typically it's just a 1d6 and there is no modifier. But why don't we put a modifier in here? Targeting type, use modifier stack. Okay, and it's going to use manager roles, medic role. So we'll go to manager roles and we'll find a medic role. So we create a message. We create our node car from our source because we don't have window within the script. I again use the trick to set the portrait when the GM is doing the roll still. I then recover the current wounds. I capture the dice roll as healing. We're probably going to have to put something in here now. If end healing is... Okay, firstly let's update this now that we've allowed the modifier stack there. Say it's 1d6 minus 1, we want to always allow at least 1 hit point to heal. So that would be something like is less than 1, then. So if end healing is less than 1, then end healing equals 1. So a simple if statement. And then if the end healing is greater than or equal to the wounds, then end healing amount is equal to wounds. And then we just create the message. Message text, X number of hit points recovered, and we do our set value against wounds. So our car wounds number, and we set end wounds minus in healing. So that will recover points, and we know that that the healing can never be greater than the number of wounds. So that math should be right. It shouldn't give anyone any temporary hit points, and then we deliver the message. So the next part that we did here was also to do with damage, and what happens is our character, let's have the security chief, let's have him attack Christoph. So he does 2 points of damage. Christoph now has 2 wounds. We do another roll of damage. He got 6 damage. So 2 plus 6 is 8 wounds, but this mechanic here, when you drop to 0 or below, you get to 0 hit points rather than going straight to a negative number. So that mechanic is working. It also reports that Christoph is unconscious and dying. So what we now want to do is we go through the initiative, and what we'll find is that on Christoph's turn, he loses an extra point of health until somebody comes along to stabilize him. And he will lose 1 point of health per turn. If somebody stabilizes him, his health returns back to 1. and this mechanic will no longer go through. So Christoph loses a hit point. He's now -1, or his wounds are at 8, which is 1 more than his health. And it's now the security chief's turn, and he attacks him again. 7 damage, wow, big one. It still reports that Christoph is dying. He's still at less than -10 health. We go through the combat track again, and Christoph needs urgent medical assistance, so he's now at -9. We won't attack him again. We'll go through and we'll let it go one more time, and Christoph needs urgent medical assistance. Christoph has died at -10 health. So let's have a look at the mechanics for that. Alright, what we've got here is a script, Matacure from the forums and Discord shared this code and then helped me put it in the right place. I was trying to attach this code to the active object in the combat tracker. That's the object that highlights the active actor in the combat tracker, but instead just register this as a global script. So basically create a script, copy this code in, and it will then run each time. So it will add a handler that checks for the active character, and then what we've got here, node CT is, so this also picks up node updated, which is the combat tracker, and then the character or NPC ID, and then .active, which is the node that it's running on against. And we want to get our actor node, so we want to go get parent to get above the active, and this just returns combat tracker actor node. And then if active is equal to 1, that means, so there's only ever one active at a time. Once the active moves to the next actor, your active goes from 1 to 0, as is everybody else's, and the person who is now active, their active state becomes 1. So if n active is equal to 1, and if hit points is less than 1, then node CT get child wounds, set value, node CT get child wounds, get value +1. So basically it's going to grab the current value of wounds and increase it by 1, and it's going to report a message. Then a separate if statement is not part of an if else. Then if the hit points is equal to or -10, then the message is going to be generated that the actor has died. And so that's how that works. And I just realized we haven't actually tested this against NPCs, and let's have a quick look and see what we do there, or actually we'll do that separately. But for the moment, PCs is definitely handled here, and possibly NPCs already listed as dead when they hit 0 hit points during a normal damage round. So this doesn't really apply there, but we may need to put some check code in here just so it doesn't run if the NPC hasn't been removed from the combat tracker. So I'm going to just do a little bit of tidy up on this, but I reckon it's about time I pushed this rule set out to the Forge and made it available to you all. Thank you all very much for joining me on this rather extended coding journey. I have fun, and I'm really excited about all the projects I'm seeing popping up at the moment. There's some really cool projects going on out there, and more and more people are dipping their toes into this and realizing that as big as the task as it is, you just do it in small chunks, you work your way through, and the community is really great, helping everybody with whatever problem they're having, and helping people get stuff moving forward. And it's great to see new games becoming available. Alright, keep on coding, keep on playing games and having fun. See you soon.